What's up, Geeks 4x4? Today we are going to install V and C code springs on the Excursion. Come along for the ride. So I'm starting to get some packages in from ATS for my spring swap on the Excursion. I got new front shackles in this box because I have extended shackles on there now. We're going to go back to stock lane. And then all the U-bolts and some of the bolts for the eyes in the box. So they custom make these U-bolts. That's pretty cool. And everything is labeled. And that's pretty sweet. So this is the start of boxes. And we'll put this all together and show you the install. Alrighty, what is up, Geeks 4x4? Today we are going to do the V and C code swap on the Excursion. I'm going to start with the back, probably just get the back done today, and then tomorrow I'll do the rest, but it'll all be in one video for you guys. Got springs in the back of the Jeep, so I'm going to go grab them, and we'll show them to you guys. So here is one of the springs. It is very heavy, and we're going to pull the back apart and see if we can't get two of these on today. Stay tuned. Alrighty, so first things first, pulling the tire off and putting the jack stands up underneath the frame so you can drop all the weight off the suspension. And then I started with pulling the U-bolts first. I'm just going to do this one side at a time. And so I now have this side free from the spring, and I'm going to drop it down a little bit. So it looks like I am going to need to pull the shock. So I'm going to pull the shock off, and then I will drop this free and get the spring out of here. Alright, I just wanted to do a quick side-by-side comparison here of these two. You can see that the old spring is the back spring. It's actually taller. So by gaining more load rating, we're actually losing height. But because of the load rating, so I mean you're at 2.5 for the new pack and an easy 3.5. So you can stay almost to stock height by gaining a lot of load rating. So plus this extra helper spring that's on the Excursion is not there. It's a full spring on the Super Duty spring. So anyway, I just wanted to show this now I'm looking at it. You can also see the arch difference. That one's up, and these original Excursion springs have 300,000 on them, so they're pretty done. Alrighty, well I've got one side in here. You can see that's the new spring. Didn't end up actually needing to take the shock off. What I had to take off was the sway bar link so that the axle could drop a little bit separately from the other side. So I had to put the sway bar links back. Easy as that. If you don't have a rear sway bar, no issues. Anyway, full droop is just barely before the end of the shock on this side, so actually stock lane shocks on the back work perfectly like this. Make sure to torque everything down and move on to the next side. Alrighty, well as you can tell I got the back done. It's sitting almost exactly 1.5 inches higher than it was before. 300,000 mile stock springs sagged out, so it's 25.5 inches to this, from this lip to the center of the hub on this side here, and before it was 24 1/4 or something. So let me see here. Before the left rear was 24 1/4, so I've actually gained 1.25 inches in the back with the C code rear springs, with the stock block and the stock shocks and everything. So all I did was put the springs on, and new U-bolts and a couple new end bolts, eyelet bolts, and just put it right back together just how it was. So I gained 1.25 inches in the rear. Alrighty, what is up, Geeks 4x4? We are working on the front today. As you can see, I got an early start, so I already have the shackles out, and I disconnected the front sway bar, and I pulled the bottom bolts off the front shocks so we can drop this thing out all the way. Looks like the front bolts are going to be a challenge. They're tucked up in there by the radiator, so that'll be exciting. So I just wanted to show really quick. Had a lot of people looking for leveling kits, keeping the stock springs on the fronts of the Excursions. And this is what I found. I found these on Amazon. This is stock. Well, this is from ATS, but stock. And this is the one that gave me about 1.5 inches or so of lift on the front. You can tell the difference right here. It's about 2 inches longer. I just wanted to show these to you guys. I probably have them for sale here, but if you're looking for a little level on the front of your truck, Super Duty Excursion, this is pretty cool, and it keeps the ride exactly the same. So let's get to work. So as I'm getting ready to put the front ones in, I figured I'd do the same comparison. You can see the arch difference. They look to be the same thickness though, like almost 1 inch dead and almost 1 inch dead. So they're about the same thickness in the front, they're just a different arch, I guess. So anyway, that is the difference in the front springs. Oh, and one more thing as I clean up here. So the front bolts that hold the springs on are put in without the radiator core support. And if you want to take them out without doing this or this, cutting the head off, you're going to have to take the radiator core support on. So plan on cutting them so that you can get them out. ATS sends you brand new bolts, so no issues. You can put them in from the outside, no problem, but they're in from the inside out, and it just doesn't work. The other one that I had done before when I did the leveling kit was the upper on the right shackle on the front. That one goes right into the exhaust, and if you have a big exhaust, it's no fun. You have to cut that one too if you got a big exhaust. So, but ATS gives you all these bolts. So if you get everything from ATS, they give you all the bolts. So it's great. Alrighty, so as you can tell, it is done. I'm going to measure really quick, see what we're sitting at. So we got this one done yesterday, and this one's fresh. So it's got a little bit of lean to the front, I just noticed. But I know, let's see, I got the numbers right here of what it was before. So the rear before, this rear was 24 1/4 from the center of the hub to the fender. Now we gotta go to the center of the hub. Same as yesterday, so 25 1/2. And then the front, 24 dead on. And I think my left front was 23 1/2 before, so I gained a 1/2 inch from the leveling kit, going with the V codes in the front and there's C codes in the rear. I just want to make sure I tell you guys the right thing. I just want to go back and make sure. So I talked about torquing the stuff down. So what you want to do is you want to jack up the axles like it has weight on it, like it would actually have weight on it. From that, you are going to tighten everything down and torque it. If you torque it with it all the way torsioned out or extended, you are going to squish the bushings, and then once they try and twist, they're past their twist limit from sitting, and then if they try and twist up or anything like that. So you want to make sure that you torque them when you're at full weight on the springs. And then the U-bolts you can do no problem while it's in the air. And yeah, so overall pretty happy. It drives pretty good. And I wish it didn't have quite as much of a drop in the front. So technically I'm looking at about 1.5 inch drop from the front to the back. And I had a 1/4 inch before, but my back was 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches lower. And then this was a 1/2 inch lower. So that's what we're looking at for this. This also only has a 1/4 tank in it, so I'm not sure if the fuel is going to change the way it sits. So that's probably 30 gallons times 6 or 7, and you can do the math. It's a couple 100 pounds almost that I got to add to the back still. So we'll see how it sits and as it settles. Hoping it sits just a little bit more level, but I'm just really happy about the increased towing capacity. Well, alrighty then, there you have it. There is the install of the V and C code springs on a Ford Excursion. If you're looking for some of these, I call Junior at ATS, and if you just Google search ATS, you'll find them. They make custom springs. They essentially are building these for exactly what you want. So he'll be able to tell you the exact lift height that you can get, and they're pretty great. So contact Junior at ATS. Don't forget to support us. There's merch in the link down below. And the subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. We'll see you next time.